Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm welcoming you, episode 168. We are in season 5 in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Quote of the day. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of the day. Listening is more than being quiet while the other person speaks until you can say what you have to say. Okay, well, we have a special guest today in the American Business Podcast. I'm going to invite our guest to our stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Rob. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Thanks, Kevin. Great to be here. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. It's very nice meeting you. How are you? Where are you connecting from?
Good. I'm here in Hawaii. I'm been in Hawaii for 40 years, and it's the best place to be for me because I'm a surfer and water guy originally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really nice. I don't know if you've been here or not, but it's fantastic.
I've been there actually once. Yes.
Oh, really?
Many years ago. Yeah, at least I will say, 15, 20 years ago for a holiday with my family.
Oh,
It
nice.
was fun. I was in
Yes.
Honolulu. I like water sports myself as well, so that
All
was a great place for me. I love the outrigger paddling, the canoeing.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Sure.
one of my favorites. So I had a great time, and I'm glad that you are joining us today. So I've been
Thank
waiting for
you.
this conversation.
Yes, me too. I'm excited. Thank you.
Well, let's get started. As a start, would you please introduce yourself to our listeners and to our
Sure.
viewers?
I'm Dr. Rob Yonover. I'm a scientist and inventor from Honolulu, Hawaii. I invent survival gear for the military. My most well-known invention is what you see behind me is a streamer for when you're lost at sea, because or in the mountains, when you're lost, they have smoke, flare, sea dive, but that goes away. The streamer stays forever, and it's the Navy, when they first approved it, called it the only passive and continuous signaling device. And my whole philosophy is to invent simple things because I think simpler is better. And especially in the survival world, you never know when things are going to break. And this thing's been used all over the world. It saved lives, and militaries use it, and consumers use it. It's very exciting, and I've been working on it forever. It's made in the USA, and I'm real proud of that. So it's been an exciting run.
Yeah, these are the things that we really focus on in the American Business Podcast. Made in USA, saving
Perfect.
lives. So
Yes.
these are all exciting subjects, important subjects that we like to talk about in the American Business Podcast. I'm glad that you are with us
Yeah.
today,
That's
and
good.
we can dive deeper.
It's a perfect match.
It is a perfect match, absolutely. When it comes to saving lives, absolutely. This is important that what you do, and I'm
Thank
glad
you.
that it's also used in military and service members as well for saving lives and helping them perform
Yes.
their duties. That's very important.
Exactly, and there's nothing better than saving someone's life. I was thanked personally by a couple of guys that used it in the military and another scuba diver, and
Yes.
there was nothing better. The guy thanked you, and then that was all the 30, 40 years I've been working on this
Mhm.
made it all worth it, because there were many pitfalls and many times when I could have quit, but I knew someday it's going to save some lives, and it has. So I'm very grateful for that.
This is great. Well, okay. Would you please tell us about your career journey? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Okay. Well, just as a kid, I loved the ocean, and I also did really well in school. So I combined the two. I got straight A's in school, and then I went to college and took a geology class and learned about volcanoes. And I grew up in Miami, where the land is flat, there are no volcanoes, and the waves were terrible. And I dreamed about big waves and volcanoes, and I just kept going in school. And I got my bachelor's and I got my master's. I worked for Exxon, and I drilled an oil well for them. And then I got a full ride scholarship to get my PhD at the University of Hawaii. And then I wrote a grant while I was here to work at NASA Johnson Space Center, because my project was Galapagos ocean floor lavas. And I got to go down in the Alvin, the same submersible that found the Titanic 6 months after I was on it. So I went down 2 miles deep, took samples of lavas, analyzed them at NASA, MIT, and University of Hawaii, and that made up my PhD work. But while I was doing that, I was flying in a small plane, and I realized, I looked down. When you look down from a plane, all you see is blue water around here or mountains. And you realize if you get lost, how are they going to see you? Smoke signals, flares, that all lasts a second or two. Even with EPIRBs or phones, they know the area. They still need a visual because your head is small. It's like a coconut floating in the water or a rock on the mountain. So I learned, weeks later, I flew to Miami and an artist, Cristo, had wrapped the islands in pink plastic. And that gave me an idea to give me a little tail of pink plastic. The military didn't like pink, so I went to orange, and that's
Mhm.
where the international orange, and that was the beginning of it. And it's, I just kept being perseverant. I never quit. I knew this was a good idea. I knew I could make some money from it. I knew I could save lives. So I never quit my day job. I kept working, got my PhD, did some teaching, worked for an environmental company, but just kept building this. And more the slow build. I'm playing the long game. A lot of guys in the startup world, they want to blow up a company really big. I'm kind of against that because yes, it can work, but more than likely it's going to fail. And then they're going to take your patents and so forth and just disassemble the whole company. I did not want to do this to this technology. So I've been doing the slow build through licensing and now through my own work. And it's still going and it's still used all over the world. I'm real proud of that.
What is the secret of your success?
I think it's hard work, really. I think that a lot of people think because I surf and I go fishing and I don't look, I look very casual, but I kind of outwork everyone. I look at, it's a pride for me to look like I'm not working hard, but to be working hard, and also perseverance. I don't quit easily, and I try a lot of new things. As an inventor, you always have all these ideas, but the key is picking the winner. And
Mm.
by going slow and methodical and not quitting, you have a chance to pick the real winner instead of just getting too excited about the first thing that comes across your mind.
So let's talk about your industry. How would you define your industry, and what is the state of your industry? That if you like to share some content
Sure.
with
I
our
mean,
audience.
I'm in the life saving or life support world, and the main group I'm with on the military side is life support. So like the Air Force, the Navy, all these militaries all over the world, there's a separate part of their world. Not, you have the weapons and the aircraft, but there's the life support. When the ship gets lost at sea, or you get in a life raft, or you're in an aircraft and you eject out and you find yourself in a raft or in the mountains, that's where the life support community comes in. And just like it says, to support life. So I fell in with these guys 30, 40 years ago, these organizations where these military people are professionals that are in the life support business. Life rafts, flight jackets, life jackets, ejection seats. So there's a group called the Safe Association, and it's an international group, and I'm part of that. We have a big trade show every year, and that's been in parallel. Though I've been looking at the consumers, and I got involved in startups, and I was able to get the streamer on Shark Tank to even get some massive exposure. And in parallel, the military business side and the consumer, because you have hikers, boaters, sailors, fishermen. They're people that are in nature that get lost also. And the streamer, it's a small device. I can show you one. It's just,
Sure.
this is it. It's as big as your hand. So this thing unfurls and gives you a 25-foot tail. And it's also discretionary and passive, meaning you can put it out and go to sleep. It's still working for you. But also, if the enemy comes around, you can pull it back in and hide it and then redeploy it. None of the
Mm.
other signaling devices are able to redeploy. And I mean, this industry is built. It's 100-year-old, 1,000-year-old industry, not 100,000, hundreds of years. They've been using flares and smoke signals, but they're all short-lived. This is the only like permanent signal, and that's a huge advantage. And there's nothing to go wrong because it's simple. It's passive. There's no batteries, chemicals, or electronics. So that is the industry I'm in. And even though I wasn't in the military, my father was in the military. He was a D-Day guy, not D-Day, D-Day plus 90, Battle of the Bulge. And, it's just the military. The frustration is the military has to be safe. They train their guys. They want to be safe. If someone goes down, they want to save them. The consumer, which is great. And that's the main focus of the business. The bigger market is the consumers. There are billions of sailors and boaters and fishermen, but they don't care about safety. And that's been a frustration forever for me. And even I got on Shark Tank, 16 million people saw it. Someone lifted my Shark Tank talk and put it on YouTube. 58 million people saw it. And still, the sales on the consumer side are very slow compared to the military because a typical guy going to go fishing on his boat wants to buy more beer and not buy a safety device. So it's kind of a catch 22. But I smartly didn't rely only on consumers or military. I have parallel tracks.
Yeah, I'm glad that you actually balance it. And
Yeah,
on the consumer side, I will say it's about educating the consumers. That's what I will
right,
say. So as I said,
right.
I do water sports myself,
All right,
canoeing, rowing, and things like that. So
okay.
like some of them are team sports, and like
Right,
we gotta have our life vest on. Like doesn't matter
right,
how good a swimmer you are, when you are falling in the water, anything
right.
can happen. You have no idea.
Exactly, exactly.
Still, we have to remind each other, hey, put the life vest on. So as simple
Exactly.
as, right? So this is something I will say about education, reminding, which is still an
Right.
investment if you think about it. I mean,
No,
from the
exactly.
business point of view, it's an investment. Yeah.
Exactly. And education is expensive, as they say. Educating the consumer is expensive. And
Hmm.
I have built this company through the media, through press releases, through
Hmm.
magazines and TV shows covering it. So I fortunately didn't spend a lot of money getting this education. But even when I get the education, that still doesn't result in huge sales because the human nature, especially Americans, are like, I'm macho. I'm a cowboy. It's not going to happen to me, And then when it's too late, I used to joke about it. I could sell these for $1 million to a guy that was lost at sea, right? If you're lost at sea and a plane's flying over you, they would pay anything for this. But the
Minimum
husband,
a million. Minimum a
exactly
million.
right, exactly. That's what's your life worth.
Yes.
So for $95 on Amazon, it's been frustrating on that. And then on the flip side, on the military, I built barriers to entry so I didn't get ripped off. And the basic premise there is I have patents, I have military approvals, I have military testing, national stock numbers. So all this, and again, because of the slow burn, I've been doing it for a long time. So I have staying power. People know me, they know the technology, they know the approvals and testing it's gone through. So anyone trying to provide a pirated or counterfeit one, I can easily shoot down and say that thing wasn't tested. It wasn't approved. Are you going to risk the lives of your service people just because you can save a few dollars if it's cheaper?
Yes, these are great points.
Yes.
Um, well, one of the popular subjects in the American Business Podcast is AI. What is your
Yeah.
take on AI? How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays?
Well, first of all, as an inventor and a creative person, I'm totally against it. I'm against phone. I don't like smartphones because I believe in zapping the creativity of young people. And the whole idea that they're smartphones, I think they make you dumb. Because when I was a kid, if you watched TV all day, we made fun of you. And now it's okay to have a color TV in your pocket. And now AI wants to think for you too. I understand how powerful it is, and I'm involved in it a little. One of my other inventions is a solar desalinator to convert salt water to fresh water, and a company just joined me to build a newer version of it, and they're going to use AI to optimize how to build that. Okay, that's good. It's a resource AI, but the way it's being implemented, it's just to me all these technologies just make people fatter and lazier. That's how I look at it. So in the old days, you went to the library and you looked through books and you read and you took notes. Now then you start Googling and it just presents it. Then AI talks to you and you can train it to do things for you. The other thing that I don't want to manage people. And this AI, you're managing a robot. You know, my whole goal is never to be an employee and never to have an employee. And that makes you have an employee. And I don't really, and it's just, again, the basic problem I have with it is the creativity side, the human creativity. If you don't exercise those muscles, especially children, young people, you lose it. And AI and and TV and the web, social media. It's beautiful. It's fascinating, and it's addictive. It's hard to go to a classroom after that and look at a chalkboard or look at a book. It's just not the same. And I think it's a really dangerous road we're going down. And of course, all these jobs are going to be taken from it, which is great if they spread the wealth evenly, but they're not going to do that. The people that have the AI that are going to deploy it are going to make the big money, and everyone else is going to lose, or they'll just pay them to be quiet. So I'm not a big AI fan. I'm not a big smartphone fan. In fact, here's my phone, and I have 20 patents. It's like a BlackBerry. It has
Got it. Yeah, I
buttons.
was I was about to say Nokia or Ericsson type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
yeah.
I had that,
Yes.
but then it stopped working, so I had to get this
Okay.
one. But
Okay.
my whole premise is when you're at your home or office, then you should be connected to Wi-Fi. But when you're in nature or in the public, you
Mm.
should only use a phone for calling and texting. That's my own philosophy because you're missing out on so much
True.
interactions with other humans, observing nature, being creative, solving your own problems. Everyone runs to the computer, runs to
Hmm.
the phone for the answer, and I just think that's wrong. But
Hmm.
that's my own work. I think harder is better. People think everyone wants the soft, easy way. I think it's harder. If you work through a problem that's hard, it's more rewarding when you come to a solution and you did the work. You powered your brain up. So
Hmm.
it's an interesting world in that respect.
It really is. Yeah, times are changing, evolving, and it's sometimes unbelievable
Yes.
to see those changes.
Yes.
Um, okay, well, let's talk about marketing practice a little bit. From your point of view, what are the best marketing practices that bring the highest ROI?
Well, for me, it's been PR, public relations, and working the media because I don't want to have a big budget, especially in the selling of safety, which is my world. As we spoke earlier, safety is a hard sell. So why do I want to spend advertising dollars? And I tried it here and there, and it never really panned out. And like I said earlier, the 16 million Shark Tank people or the 58 million on YouTube, those are humongous numbers. That would be very expensive to reach those people with paid advertisements. So my philosophy is to try to market through PR and the media covering your technology, and it's also a third party endorsement. When a military magazine or outside magazine or men's journal or whoever writes about this technology writes about it, you can't buy that coverage because when you pay an ad, the smart people say, oh yeah, this is an advertisement. These guys are going to say whatever they want. So that's one thing. And then on the flip side, I still believe in person to person. And as much as I love them, I also hate them, which is trade shows. I still am a believer in trade shows. I can shave, put on a suit and tie, and I'm rubbing shoulders with the big people in my industry. And that's just walking the floor of a trade show. Then, if your technology or business progresses where you can have a booth, then you have a booth that's like a storefront. And again, you can meet people, look eye to eye with people, discuss things. Even the way just in person is so much better. To me, it's in person is the best, then phone or video, and then way down the list is texting or emailing because
Hmm.
that's one way. So I think trade shows give you an opportunity to learn your industry and become networked within your industry. And that's why I don't like going to them so much. And I could go to one every week. The streamer boating, hiking, diving, sailing, there's always a show, but you can spend a lot of money just going to shows. So I try to pick the ones I go to carefully.
From your point of view, how would you define the leadership? How would you define leadership? And what are the great leadership qualities a good leader must have?
I think they have to not be like you have to connect with your workers and connect where they don't fear you, and you have to show them that you're willing to do the work too. You're willing to roll up your sleeves. I think when and you have to have a vision that you get across to them. So you're all part of a team. You're working on one objective. And in the case of the streamer, look, the objective, yeah, it's selling of units and making money, but the objective is saving lives. So if you can have a lofty objective and goal like that, it's easier to be a leader because people will buy in more to that. And I also like to let people run with what they're good at. I'm not a micromanager. And even in my experience with the media, for instance, a Men's Journal wrote about the streamer, and they don't tell me, they don't ask me what to write about. I write a release, but I don't micromanage what they write. They don't let you, first of all, but they definitely don't want you to. But the one writer wrote Gilligan's Island would have been one episode. I don't know if you know that show where they get lost at sea. They say Gilligan's Island would have been one episode if they didn't have a streamer. No, if they had a streamer, which is funny. So you see, if you let people do what they're good at, that also empowers them because then they respect you for trusting them. And I think that's really important as a leader, is to be like down to earth and understand, and for them to see that you are willing to do the work too, and you will get your hands dirty and you will work hard. Because if you're just the money guy on top and you're the mean boss and you expect everyone to do things, I don't think you don't get the following you get. You don't get the buy-in that you need.
Role models. Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
Well, I've had many, and first and foremost would be my father, because he was an early guy that started his own business out of our home like 70 years ago or 60 years ago when I was a little tiny kid. And I saw him versus his friends were all more successful, professional, successful guys, but they were 9 to 5ers. They didn't get to interact with their family. They didn't get that flexibility. So I saw that. And even in our family, we just say no to real jobs was a plaque on our wall. And if you got a real job, you were kind of looked at as like not a failure, but a disappointment. So we were kind of put on the path of being entrepreneurs, starting your own business, and also keeping track of the front of the store, meaning if you're a student, make sure you're doing well at school, and in your spare time, you start a business. If you're working for someone, put the 40 hours in a week, work hard, but in the side, you have nights, weekends, you can build a business. So he was absolutely my hero and mentor in that regard. And my mom too, she was very creative. They both really put across the work hard ethic, but also the creativity and the travel and exploration, learn about other cultures, learn about other places, and it's just that knowledge, being always open to being a learner. I'm always a lifelong learner, and I think they were really good. And then when I was a PhD student, I was doing my patent drawings for this streamer invention. The guy connected me to another inventor here on Oahu, this Swedish guy that invented the smoke in the cockpit technology. And he became a mentor of mine in how to invent technology for the military and for aviation world. And ironically, he mentored me in a reverse way because I saw what he did and I learned, no, I don't want to do that. He would take on the FAA or American Airlines and yell at them. I'm like, you're not going to get that far taking on these big guys and threatening them. So sometimes you learn what not to do that can be as much a lesson as learning what to do. And he was another mentor. Though, I mean, I could go on, and then all my professors I've had over the years that taught me how to attack problems. So, yeah, I've been fortunate. I've had some great mentors in my life.
Key career lessons. If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
A key career lesson.
Yes.
Well, I think it would have to be to build slowly. Whatever career you want and whatever goal you want in your life. As I'm older now, I realize that you can't get things quickly. Things take twice as long to get and twice as much money. It may be maybe multiples of 10x, 10 times as long and 10 times as money. So in any career, you have to have goals, but sometimes it takes baby steps to get there, and not to be frustrated in what the work or the time it takes to get there. And that's what part of the problem I have with with the smartphones and the AI. Everything is instant gratification. But the truth is, to build a real career, it's not an overnight thing. It happens slowly, methodically. You have to put the work in and keep reaching the milestones. And I think and no one wants to hear that. Who wants to hear that? It's going to take longer and harder, and you're not going to get there right away. I mean, that's the truth.
We have a little tradition in the American Business Podcast. I have a
Great.
question for you coming from our previous guest. And
Oh,
after I ask you that question, I'll ask you to leave me a question for our coming guest. And I'll ask you a question in the
okay.
next episode.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
All right. So the question for you coming from our previous guest is, from your point of view, what other disasters, emergencies should mankind expect and get ready for?
Well, I think that's an easy one, and it's drinking water. I mean, you can fight all the wars you want about oil. We don't really need oil. We can have other ways to make energy. But if we don't have water, and water goes bad quickly, a hurricane can put a water source down, a flood, a tsunami, and there's so many ways, just contaminants from environmental spills. There's so many ways water can go bad, and all humans need water. And as the world's expanding in population, the way water, the necessary amounts of water needed that are potable that you can drink, that's one of the focuses I have in my other technologies, to make a device that can convert salt or polluted water into fresh drinking water, because I think that is critical.
Absolutely. And that process is very hard. Am I right?
Exactly. Yeah, very hard. And in fact, like in the Middle East, it takes a lot of energy. So you need all this oil to pump salt water through these filters, reverse osmosis, to get the salt out. So my device is very simple, using Gore-Tex, which is an expanded Teflon. We use it for raincoats. It's a great raincoat because it's like a tiny web of Teflon. The holes are so small that when water hits, it bounces off, but air goes through, so it breathes. That's why it's a good raincoat, so you don't sweat. I use it in reverse. I made an inner and an outer bag. The inner bag has a window of this Gore-Tex. You put salt water in it. It's black, so it gets hot. You put it in the sun, the salt water evaporates, but only the vapor gets through. The salt crystals are stuck by the Teflon, by the Gore-Tex. So it separates the water vapor, which recondenses on the outer bag, and you can drink it. So right now it only makes like a mouthful of water a day. I have to get it up to a pint a day, and then it truly will be revolutionary in this world of providing water for people. So that's where I'm at.
Wow. That's exciting.
Yes, thank you.
Well, okay. What is your question for the next guest in the American Business Podcast? What would you like to ask?
And that last one, they didn't know I was going to be the guest, right? So
Well, actually,
you don't know what.
Actually, normally we don't talk about it. No one asks normally in general.
Okay.
But the previous guest specifically asked for it. Like,
Okay,
who is
no,
coming
no.
next? So I like to craft my question. So we only did it once. Normally we just don't do
Okay,
it.
okay, no. I'll give a general question.
Okay.
My question is, how are you going to deal with employees given their addiction to social media and AI? How do you measure how do you pick an employee, and how do you measure their output, given the fact that it's very hard for them to live without their phones and without the AI doing stuff for them?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think it applies to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because we see sometimes like different policies per company,
Right.
no cell phone use, or
Right.
they block certain websites. Like you cannot go to YouTube. I had a meeting earlier this morning with a company. We show our software system with our conversations and so on.
Right.
And we said, hey, we have like a ton of videos about our software system. Would you like to watch? they got excited. They like to watch. And then we gave
Yes,
them the link, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we cannot connect because of the company policy." They just block it. Basically, they cannot
exactly,
connect to
exactly.
YouTube, right? So I mean, the companies they try to do certain things in a way that they like to manage their employees' time. At the
Right.
same time, times are changing, so it's really like it's
No,
a
it's a
mixed bag.
challenge.
Yeah, it's a
No, I mean,
challenge.
I have children and grandchildren, and that's my challenge now. My kids didn't have smartphones; they just had
Mhm,
texts and regular phones. And then
mhm.
now these kids are growing. The little kids are growing up with
We
smartphones and
did.
AI.
Yes, yes.
How do you prevent that? And
It's
one of the
hard.
things I thought of is just like they say they block YouTube. I have read about cell phone blockers. There's a
Mhm.
thing that can block the whole signal, and none of the phones work. Apparently,
Mm.
they're illegal in the United States, but they're
Okay.
legal in Europe. I think when my grandkids get older, I'm going to buy one for my house. So when they come and visit, if they bring their
No
phones,
signal. Sorry.
no, yeah,
Yes. Yeah, they just started in schools, right? So in
right.
schools they can. They just started though. It's recent.
I know, and
So
it's great. I'm so
yeah,
happy to see that. And
yeah, that's true. That's true.
the other thing that was such a lie, in my opinion, even when my son and daughter were in school, they started giving them iPhones or not iPhones, iPads,
Mhm.
or they started. The big lie was how iPhones and laptops in school will make them better students or more technologically savvy. No way. I mean, they've done so many studies that say a pen and paper, crayons and paper, that makes you creative and a better student. Reading, writing,
Mhm.
arithmetic.
Mhm.
Not having your work on an iPad. And the other thing, another pet peeve I have is parents doing too much for their kids. It's your homework. It's the kids' homework. It's not you. My parents never looked at my work, and I was too busy. I had a challenge at home because my wife became paralyzed from multiple sclerosis. So I was a caregiver to her. I had no opportunity to help my kids with their homework. And
Mhm.
even my son, when he was like in second or third grade, he said, "Dad, you're a scientist. Help me with my homework." I'm like, "No way. I'll discuss science with you, but you do your own homework." And I really feel for the teachers that get stuff turned in that half the work is done by their parents or now half the work's done by AI. I mean, you're only
Yeah,
cheating
sure.
yourself. So I really,
Yeah, I mean, actually, I was at an event, and there were some educators there from different universities, colleges, and so on, and they had the same challenge. So students
right,
come up, so they start tracing students from day one. Right, so
right,
the way that I write, you figure it out. Like you understand my style when I start writing
right,
it.
right,
There is gonna be
exactly.
improvement as I learn more things, but I have a style. So if I start with an AI and all of a sudden if I change it to my own
It's right.
writing, you can tell as my professor, as my teacher, right? Easily.
Absolutely. It's like a fingerprint. Your own writing
Exactly.
is your fingerprint.
Exactly.
AI. And I don't understand. I don't. What boggles my mind is how people are proud of that. To me, it's basically cheating, and You're cheating yourself, though, right? If
Yes. Yes.
it's like Cliff Notes. Do you remember Cliff Notes?
Yes.
So okay, you didn't read War and Peace or Moby Dick. You took a Cliff Notes and you wrote the paper. Great, you got a grade and you tricked everyone. But guess what? You're the loser here because you didn't get to read the book.
That's
So
true.
that's
That's
the
true.
biggest frustration to me is people are so the short attention span makes it so hard. People don't even read anymore, let alone write, and it's just become acceptable, and that's
Mhm.
kind of sad. So
Yes. Yes.
maybe it will change, but
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not holding my breath. But
We shall see.
it's starting to change. I mean, they're 16 and over. They're banning social media from kids 16 and under. Schools are getting rid of smart cell phones. So it's getting there. It's just going to take a while. And for the record, in 2007, when the first iPhone came out and everyone thought it was the greatest thing in the world, I was the only guy I knew that said, no, this is terrible. This is bad for all these reasons I just talked about. And
Mhm.
this is now 20 years later. It's even worse. So I think I was right on that count. And I think that phones so it's just sad because Americans, the whole world's falling behind because students don't do the hard work to become educated because it's too easy to push a button and get an answer or a paper written by AI. So
Yes. Well,
discouraging.
okay. Uh, do you have any question you would like to ask me in this part of the episode?
Well, in the people you meet, what do you see in terms of creativity and people starting new businesses? Are they all like social media and apps, or is there some hardware being developed? Is there
Um,
true new businesses being started?
yeah, it's really a mix. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of different businesses starting. Of
That's
course,
good.
there's always this high drive, high excitement and motivation for
Right.
the technology.
Sure.
It's also popular. I see it a lot. I've seen other industries as well in terms of having professional services.
Hmm.
And nowadays, what I'm seeing is in general, anything that's being done in terms of being a startup, and if you like to get investors and
Right.
support, it's gotta be in some form of it's gotta touch technology in some way,
Yep. Yeah.
and they're always looking for some sort of like annual recurring revenue or monthly
Yeah.
recurring revenue. So the
Right.
subscription is the key nowadays. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So investors, when they engage, they look at that. So how is the continuation of the revenue, and what is the technology, or is there a technology? Yeah, does it
Right.
touch to technology? So that's what I see. At the same time, to your point earlier, the hard work is not going away at all. I mean, it's here to stay in different forms.
Right.
Everyone is different in terms of
Right.
their entrepreneurial skills and style. They all work hard in a way that
Right.
understanding the market, testing the market. And you just actually earlier mentioned one thing. I always believe in this. I knew I will save life. I will make money. I will be successful. That belief, all the entrepreneurs that I'm meeting with, I'm working with, I see that belief. Right. That's a core belief. I think that drives them all the way.
That's
And
good.
once you believe it, and coupled with the hard work, it looks like they get the success. That's what I'm seeing in
That's
my
good. Yeah.
conversations and in my observation. I'm also quite a networker. I network a lot, meet with different business people, business owners, investors, and so on. So there
That's
are
great.
some of them are really unique in their own way. Some of them, and in general, I see certain pattern. And when I say pattern, doesn't matter what I see. I mean, eventually the hard
Right.
work is hard work. You have to do it. Like you have to put the
Exactly.
hours in. So that is
That,
always there.
that's right. There's no way around that.
No. Yeah, I agree
There's no,
with you. I agree
there's
with you.
no easy fix, and
Yeah.
people don't realize that. And the frustration for being an inventor for years, people come up to me and go, "I got this great invention. Here it is. You be back."
Yes, we are back.
Okay. Yeah. So you do this and we'll split the money. I'm like, you don't understand. Doing it is the hard part.
Yes.
Coming up with an idea, everyone can throw an idea out.
Mhm.
Do you have the rigor? Are you rigorous enough to be disciplined enough to put the time in, the years, the hours, whatever it takes?
Can you deliver? Yes.
Exactly. And that's
That's the big
and,
question.
and the other thing is, as a kid in reading, are you familiar with Emerson and Thoreau? The great treatise that Emerson wrote was self-reliance. And I'm a big believer in the survival world. You got to rely on the number one tool in any survival is your brain. And the other thing is you have to rely on yourself. No one's coming to save you. So I believe the same in business. So if you have this great idea, you better be able to execute it. You better be disciplined enough to build this company. And you got to find people that are of the similar ilk that are willing to put the hard work in. And that I think that's getting harder and harder. I know people are always looking for employees across the whole country, and they can't find them because everyone's addicted to not working, and they pay
Mhm.
people to not work. And now, how do you find someone that works hard?
Yes. That's a big challenge. So one of the things that companies are doing, and we are also doing in our own firm as well, internship programs. So we
Oh
get
yeah,
interns, we train them, and right there you can see the student right there. If
right.
she is interested, would like to learn, and that's okay. If she's not interested, that's okay too. But you understand it early on. That really help
Yes,
us.
exactly.
And then from there on, if we see that discipline gotta come inside of you, right? This is not something that I can't really teach someone. Like you really want to do it, and it's just
Exactly.
gonna be come inside of. Like it's just gonna be just in you.
Right,
So
exactly.
I
No,
cannot just push to shove the discipline in you. It's just gotta be there.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
But
So
for me, it's easier when
yeah.
you have a passion. I know I'm
Yes.
lucky. I love volcanoes, so I can do all the work to get a PhD. I love inventing survival gear,
Uh-huh.
so it was easy. I would hate to have to do something I didn't like doing,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
where we are free to kind of pick what fields we want to go into. But we still ultimately, and that's why for me, I don't want to work on someone else's invention or
Yes.
technology. I want to build my own thing. And
Yes.
I mean, that's to me is the best thing. If you
That's
if
very
you can
very
pull it
inspiring.
off, it's hard though.
It is hard.
It's harder
Yes.
than just being an employee. People
That's
think it's
true.
easier. It's way harder.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad you are sharing your story with the American Business Podcast community.
Thank
It's
you.
because it's very inspiring, and
Thank you. I appreciate that.
that's what I've been seeing as well. So in US, there are millions of companies and organizations,
Right.
and these innovation and these belief to start your own business.
Right.
When I say start your own business, finding solutions,
Right.
addressing solutions, helping people, saving lives, and other
Right.
benefits that actually being delivered. Um, that is what makes the American business and America different. That's what I have been seeing
I
so
think
far,
I think so, and
and that's very important.
hopefully we're not losing that because of the phones and AI. That's what I'm worried about. I mean, there's
Well,
certain
I think we are turning it into a business. So that's another opportunity for business in another form.
that's true. Well, there is. I actually think that's true. There is going to be a friend of mine said, "What am I going to do when I retired?" I go, well, when you retire, people are going to want organic, educational, real experiences for their kids or for themselves. So we're going to go flip side, and taking people out to nature and getting unplugged is going to be a big thing in the future. I can see that.
Yes.
I would do that if I couldn't do it with my own kids and grandkids. I would pay someone to get them away from their phones and to get them out and do something, which is crazy because as kids,
Yes.
that's all we wanted to do, and no one was pushing us to do that, right?
Yes, that is true. Times are changing, and to your point, because of the AI and technology, we are always in it, in front of it, right next to
Right.
it. So it looks like that human relations, like human touch in a way,
Yeah.
the interactions will be more important and
Uh,
harder to get. That's how
yes.
it looks. And also things that's made by humans, right? Right now, things are being made by AI is getting there. Still, of course,
Right.
humans, we are doing things, but then
Right.
in the future with the robots coming in,
Right.
eventually, hey, this is made by a human, and this is like
I
it's
know,
gonna be the unique thing, you know?
exactly. It used to be made in USA. It'll be made by human in USA.
This we are talking about. This is not like Star Wars type of movie anymore.
No,
This is
this
just
is like
coming in. It's just
no, it's like
unbelievable.
this is like next month. It's going to be like that. It's already here.
Yes, yes, that is
So
true.
true.
It's an unbelievable conversation. So, okay, well, we talk about next generation. What is your career advice for the next generation professionals?
Well, again, learn how to work hard. Learn how to work alone. Learn how to work without your crutches of the computer, the internet, social media, AI, and also the social skills. I mean, I was taught how to shake someone's hand, look them in the eye,
Mm,
write an email, respond to an email, write to someone. All that is it's such a refreshing thing when I meet a young person that can do all that. And that's what I really encourage anyone to starting a business is to get your interpersonal skills down because ultimately you're going to need them. And that maybe not if you're just a techie and you're just a code writer, but someone in your organization is going to need to do it. So you might as well. And also to understand, and I'm not a lawyer, but I know I'm very interested in it. And I used to tell my kids, you guys should get a law degree. And they kept saying, well, why? I don't want to be a lawyer. I go, I don't mean to be a lawyer. Just have a basis for knowledge so that when you go into any situation, you understand the legal aspect of it. It's just a general education. And even for me, getting a PhD in science was a means to an end. Yeah, it would have been cool to be a professor, and I was here and there, but it was more like teaching you how to attack problems, teaching you how to think, teaching you how to write, teaching how you get up in front of a class and of your peers and your professors and defend your work. That stuff, you can't buy that. So you got to put the hard work in. So you might as well start early and, pick coursework that gets you in that arena that isn't just the easy stuff that isn't interpersonal dependent.
For those who like to continue this conversation, learn more about your company yourself, what is the best way that they can contact you?
Well, Sea Rescue Streamer is my website, but I'm all over Amazon too. Sea Rescue Streamer's on Amazon, and I have 4 books: Hardcore Inventing, Caregiver Survival Guide, Hardcore Caregiving, Hardcore Health, and I have a children's book, Brainstorm Islands. But I'm also on social media, just my name, Rob Yonover, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm not big on social media, but I'm there, and I post a lot of stuff. But it's more like this kind of stuff. I'm not. You're not going to see my everyday life. I do like privacy, and I'm kind of shy, believe it or not. I'm private. So anyway, just post Rob Yonover on the internet. You'll see me, and you can. I love to interact. I do a lot of outreach, education to kids. And they think I'm crazy, but I'm telling what I tell them, they kind of don't want to hear, because I'm telling them to throw their phones away, and I'm telling them to go in the backyard and dig for dirt and go hike and do stuff like that and get away from social media and AI. So I'm a big proponent of all that. It's kind of a retro perspective.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Rob Yonover, thank you so much for being with us in the American Business Podcast. Thank you for sharing your insights and your professional wisdom with us.
Absolute pleasure, Kevin. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine, and I wish you a great day.
Thanks. You too. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you. Mahalo. Thank you.
Very good.
Well, to our audience and to our listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you like it, please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video. What do you think about AI? How often you are using it? And can you get by a day without using your smartphone and AI tools? Share your thoughts in the comments and in the chat box. We really appreciate it. And your subscriptions are also important, and they help us a lot. We'll appreciate it. We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you very much.